welcome. We are live here in Columbus, South Carolina on this beautiful Saturday night, just in time for the primary. Good, everybody. Brian Glenn here, and we're fresh off of CPAC as we wrapped up a 3-day run there in our nation's capital, and what a fantastic conference that was. Not only did we hear some great speakers, but we got some good motivation, some different direction that parts of the party want to take, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. We do want to talk about our friends over at the Burgo Group before we unpack what is to be a very wild night here. The Burgo Group, we talked about the economy and ways that you can protect your savings and your investments, and the Burgo Group wants to do just that. Simply text the words Trump to 989898 for that free information kit and how you can convert a traditional IRA into a gold-backed IRA. They've got the instructions to do it. They've got the knowledgeable staff that want to help you. So simply text the words Trump to 989898. That is the Burgo Group. Let me step aside real quickly and kind of show you where I'm at tonight. We are in Columbus, South Carolina. It is primary night. Now, this is the Trump victory watch party. Now, I said victory because chances are it's not a matter if he'll win this South Carolina primary, but at this point, it's likely to be to how great is the margin of victory. Now, some of the early exit polls just about 30 minutes ago have been reporting that the majority of people leaving the polls have been self-described as extremely conservative and even leaning towards the MAGA party. So I can only, I guess, assume that would be President Trump on that. So he's doing, I mean, you're probably talking early on into this, could have a 35 plus, lead on Nikki Haley in this state. But we got a lot to unpack here. We're glad you're joining us, and to tell you what is at stake here. And a lot of people have been speculating. It's not, like I said, it's not a matter of if President Trump wins this. This is a matter of what the margin is. But the second biggest question people are asking is, does Nikki Haley remain
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which
President Trump to getting that nomination, and we've seen exactly what the Department of Justice has attempted to do to President Trump. We've seen what these lawsuits, these indictments, we've seen what that has done for his campaign. If anything, it's helped his campaign, and it's helped to resonate with the American people that, quite honestly, even people that have not been, fairly agnostic into the political scene are now, seeing just how, I guess, lopsided and how weaponized that the justice system has been with these lawsuits. And I think just the recent one with President Trump and the ruling coming out of New York against him in the kind of real estate-based case, handed down a judgment, under the figure of $400 million after it's all said and done, and where there appears to be no victim, there appears to be no damages, and it appears that all of the parties involved in this in that transaction would actually do it again if it was up to the banks to simply restructure the deal and do it. It's a very common thing, and I've had a lot of real estate experts over the last week. I've seen on news hits, and had a couple personally call me and say, Brian, what happened is something that every real estate developer goes through. This is not something that's out of the ordinary. So people that might not have followed politics but might be more into a real estate or a developer type industry see what has happened to President Trump, and perhaps that's gained some popularity or some support from people that traditionally might not have been even politically driven. So big changes I think you're going to see after this primary in terms of the focus of this campaign. Now, I remember asking President Trump a few weeks ago if he was going to shift more into a head-to-head campaign against Joe Biden. And he says, look, Brian, I've been doing that from the very beginning. This is not a campaign against any other person in this primary. This is a campaign to take on Joe Biden and to get our country going back in the other direction. So I think after tonight, that message will continue. It is about defeating Biden in November, and that's even debatable whether or not it will even be Joe Biden in November. But nevertheless, that's what this campaign is about. Obviously, the border has been one of the number one issues that we have talked about on this network, and certainly the number one issue that people at CPAC was talking to. And of course, all of the rallies that we attend, that tends to be one of the top issues no matter what state you're in. It used to be kind of if you were in a border state, then the border was a top priority. If you're up in the upper Northeast or in the Midwest, not necessarily a big deal, but it has now become, quote, a big deal to people all across this country with this open border. And of course, in terms of national security, just recently, over the last 24 to 48 hours, rather, we had a murder. Young college students, University of Georgia, was murdered by a Venezuelan, somebody who crossed in from Venezuela illegally. That has sparked some outrage in that community that have said, look, people that normally would have viewed immigration as being something that, let's all have a compassionate heart. Let's all let them come in. It's okay. That's who we are, in the words of Barack Obama. But when they see such a tragedy happen at the hands of the reckless policies of the Biden administration, then those that have normally not paid attention to politics, they're now paying attention to this open border. So I think it's a tragic story. And we certainly, prayers go out to not only that family, but that entire community that it touched. And this is something that we need to build on in terms of solving the problem before, obviously, something else goes wrong. And, of course, about 2 weeks ago, we did impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. It took us a couple times to do it, but at the end of the day, he got impeached. This now goes to the Senate. I was talking to Senator Tommy Tuberville 2 days ago, and he's going to try to force Mitch McConnell to put that to the floor for discussion and a vote. Now, whether or not that happens, that's to be seen, but that is something that the American people want done. I often talk about putting points on the board, and what I mean by that is Republicans, we have, ever since, I guess, the 2020 election, we have felt like we have not got very much accomplished in terms of policy or, having a majority in the House, which, it's become slimmer ever since we took over the House. But this impeachment of Mayorkas certainly gives us some points on the board. So we'd like to see that carry over into the Senate. Now, when you take a look at what's next for the impeachment process, so there have been articles of impeachment on Joe Biden from the day he was inaugurated. Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia filed those articles of impeachment on Joe Biden and filed them once again in this latest session of Congress. So that is in judiciary right now, and people often ask me when we walk around these rallies, when are we going to impeach Joe Biden? And I said, well, you got to get it out of judiciary, and we've got 2 Republicans right now that are in there that probably are reluctant to want to push that out to the floor vote. Now, Matt Gaetz is here. We'll get him to spend some time with us here in a little bit. But Matt Gaetz had a great point the other day talking about whip checking a vote, and what that means is I'd like to see that pushed to the floor for a vote and have people put their name on it, whether or not they agree with impeaching Joe Biden or whether or not they are not ready to do that. Now, what that essentially does is those who vote against it, then their constituents in their district are able to then know exactly where their representative stands, and therefore, from what we've seen in the past, would put some heat on them to actually reconsider that vote and get it done. Now, Nancy Pelosi, love her or hate her, she's a very effective speaker by getting her party rallied around certain agendas, and she was able to do a lot on that. They impeached President Trump twice, and they did not go through the proper channels that the Republicans now in this session has done. That's perhaps why it took a little bit longer than people wanted it to take, but that's because they did it the right way. Now, many of you are probably like me, and I'd like to fast track that thing to the floor as soon as possible for a vote, and if it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, we know the Republicans on record that voted against it, any impeachment on Joe Biden. So I'd like to see a whip check. We'll get Matt Gaetz's comments on that as well. Plus inflation, big issue this past year, CPAC. It's one of those things where no matter where you live in this country, you're faced with inflation, you're faced with higher taxes, and not only just gasoline, I call the lowest hanging fruit in terms of how it affects the average American. But if you look across the board at heating and cooling, your electricity, your rent, your mortgage rates, all Americans are affected by this Bidenomics, and it's really interesting how the Biden administration wants to convince you that the economy is not that bad, that it's okay right now. And I think they can sell that for a bit, and perhaps there are people in our society that will kind of go along with the game plan and just think to themselves, it's not that bad. I don't mind paying $4 or $5 a gallon for gas. I don't mind paying 20% more for food. I don't mind paying higher interest rates on financing things. I don't mind out of control credit card rates. This is Bidenomics. I'm told it works, so it must work. Well, there's a majority of Americans that aren't buying that, and I think that when you look at what the average American can process and what affects them to make a vote, it is the economy. And I try to every second, if I get in an Uber, or I go to a grocery store, or I go to a restaurant, I talk to a waiter, a bartender, if I talk to people I meet in the airport, I ask them always, where are you from? What do you do? What is it like there? What's the cost of living? And I've yet to find somebody that has literally said, things are great. The economy's booming. My business is doing well. We have seen, kind of a production inflation rate be as high as we've seen in years, and that is the cost to produce goods. You've also seen the inflation rate on what it is to actually buy the goods at the store. Small business optimism is down. It means more small businesses are very pessimistic about the next 6 months, and that is with the uncertainty of a Biden administration. Now, if you were to see a Biden presidency unfold once again in 2024, I would only imagine at that point you would really start to see a crunch with small businesses as far as consumer spending goes, because we have seen many sectors like the automotive industry suffer some pullbacks because of the higher interest rates. And of course, when you don't sell as many cars, obviously that affects the supply chain, all the support systems around that as well. So lots ahead. Let me step aside again, kind of check it out. We're live here. I do expect to have a few interviews coming up here shortly, as they got a crowd has made its way in here. I would say since we've got here, it is much crowded than it was when we first got here. It's just like the doors have kind of opened. They've move some people through here. Now, tonight is for supporters, volunteers, fundraise teams here tonight. That's who has been invited to, come here and hang out and celebrate tonight's win over Nikki Haley. And I do anticipate remarks perhaps shortly after, somewhere in the 7 o'clock hour. Let's just say that. We'll see exactly how that times out. But, this is now the fourth type of watch election party that we've been to. We've had New Hampshire. We've had Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and now South Carolina. And it seems to be a very similar vibe. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of mystery, if you will, on how's it going to turn out, because it seems like from the very beginning the numbers have been extremely strong in as far as Trump goes. It's interesting. I see Senator Lindsey Graham on the media riser just down from me right now, and I say it's interesting because when you look at the level of popularity that he has, the South Carolina senator with the base here at MAGA, and maybe tonight, if he's announced, you would probably hear how many feel from the base about the senator here from South Carolina. But it's one of those situations where, it's hasn't always been a fan favorite. Let's just say that. But the president certainly calls him a friend, and does see a certain value in their relationship. So we'll see if we can't. We might be able to get him over here shortly. I do anticipate Congressman Matt Gaetz to come see us. I know that Nancy Mace is walking around here. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be here shortly as well. But glad you're joining us here tonight as we make our way through another election night. And it's interesting because, this is one of many. We're going to basically come down to the point where we're going to have several of these come out. Let's talk about our friends over at the Wellness Kit. Now, we know the markets are unstable, but what also is unstable is the possibility of some type of medical emergency. That's why we have the Contagion Emergency Kit. It is an absolute blessing if you happen to come down with some type of illness from a virus. Doesn't really matter, but if it makes you sick, the chances are this thing can help. It's backed by research and endorsed by experts like Dr. Peter McAuliffe and his team of doctors have put together this Contagion Kit that can fight just about anything. And of course, it can fight. You got ivermectin. It's got a Z-Pack in there as well. It's perfect to fighting COVID, to any kind of stomach virus, any kind of even as simple as a common cold. This Contagion Kit has it all. The information for that is on your screen. I often say we promote a lot of fun products on this show, and we like to do that. And then a lot of times those fun products sell out. But a product like this, it's needed in your house, your office, your car. If you travel a lot, you might want to have this Contagion Kit with you. The website is makecaregreatagain.com. Do not forget to use the code RSBN at checkout to get 15% off your order. makecaregreatagain.com. All right, so I'm just taking a look at some of his speech that I got the other night for South Carolina, and they do talk about the economy and how it's affected not only this country but South Carolina in particular. He says he will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act that if China or any other country makes us pay 100 or 200% tariff, then they're going to make them pay a reciprocal tax of 100 to 200% as well. And that is one way to try and fight this trade imbalance that we have with China. And President Trump often talks about how these countries have been ripping us off with these deals. And I'll say this because I remember, back in 2012, 2013, saying that President Trump was the only person that could really fight against the trade imbalance that we had with China. And lo and behold, we fast forward to 2020 and in 2024, the plan to do that is still in place. So, but, you know, as he says, crooked Joe Biden will not only have this massive tax hike, because I want to be clear on this, whoever controls Congress, January of 2025, controls the new tax code. They will write the new tax code, and so the Trump tax codes will sunset in January. So that's why to have the majority in the House at this point is critical, because we can elect President Trump in the White House, but if we don't have the majority in Congress and we don't take over the majority in the Senate, we won't get much done, at least won't get as much as we'd want with the Trump administration. Now, if you look back at what happened in 2016, for the first 2 years in Congress, we did not have the Congress in place to back up the Trump policy. So it took maybe a little bit longer to kind of get things going that we wanted. But this next time around, we do know that we've got to have everything in place to make the best out of the Trump administration. He's also talking about how the energy prices have been record high, as far as we've had, kind of $5, $6, $7 a gallon, depending on where you live. If you remember, President Trump, for the first time in a long time, we were energy dependent, not necessarily relying on foreign oil or foreign energy, natural gas. We had it all here. At CPAC, I had the opportunity to talk to a couple people from the great state of West Virginia. We talked about the coal industry there, and if you want to kind of compare it to what it would be like if you live in Texas, of course, that's we got a lot of the West Permian Basin there in West Texas. That's the bread and butter of the Texas economy as far as oil goes. Well, that could be said in West Virginia as well with the coal. And Joe Biden has promised to basically take a war out on the coal workers, and where we will probably end up bringing coal from other countries here, and we have such an abundance here in our own state. So this war on the energy and this push to be dependent on other countries for our energy needs is almost at a point where it's a threat to domestic terrorists in a way, because now we're dependent on other countries for our own productive means. And so it really does put us in a difficult position as well. So energy interdependent, break away from foreign oil is often a big topic that President Trump talks about, it seems like night after night here at these rallies. So looking forward to hearing from him on that. And if you missed any of CPAC, I encourage you to go back to our Rumble page, go back to our Facebook page, go back to our YouTube page. You can look up day 1, day 2, day 3, and you can look up into particular speeches as well on that. We step aside because, hey, you don't want to look at me, you want to look at the crowd here. And that's exactly what we're all about here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm going to remind you, if you want to donate to us, you can do that. Before we had, great partners like the Contagion Wellness Company. Before we had partners with the Burgo Group. Before we had partners of all those great companies, our biggest partner was you. It was the people. And we had great partners like you. And you can go to our website, rspnetwork.com. That's rspnetwork.com/donate. It's a great way to donate to a great conservative cause. And that's one thing that people often say, is that they're paying their conservative bill in terms of, people say, hey, I pay my taxes, I pay my energy bill, I pay my mortgage, and I pay my conservative bill. We had somebody, often people have said that to me, and it's interesting because we do pride ourselves on being one of the leaders in the conservative movement. So I just encourage you, if you go to our website, go to rspnetwork.com, RSBN.com/donate. You can do a one-time donation. You can do a reoccurring donation. You can do of any dollar amount works. Any dollar amount helps. So RSBNetwork.com/donate. Live looking here at Columbus, South Carolina. Now, the polls close at 7 p.m. And I do expect to a certain degree that we're going to have initial numbers come out rather quickly. I don't anticipate us waiting very long. I know we've had a couple. I think New Hampshire took some time to basically unfold before we got some results. But I do think that we'll get some pretty solid numbers early on tonight. And like I said, it's not a matter of if the president will win. It's a matter about how much he will win. And some people are saying that it could be upwards to 35-plus points. Also, let's talk about this Trumpinator, this thing. This is great. This bobblehead that's made from proud patriots with the highest quality materials for the Trump fan in your life. It makes for a perfect gift for family and friends to celebrate and show their love for President Trump. If you want this Trumpinator, just text Trump to 70301. That's Trump to 70301 and get your hands on this Trumpinator bobblehead, which is one of the best things that you can give a Trump supporter. And I love promoting companies that stand up with their values and they want to support not only the president, but they want to also support this network. So, hey, we shout out to them for partnering up with us tonight. What a great price on this as well. Don't wait, because there is a limited number of these bobbleheads. And if you check on eBay or any one of these auction sites, they actually go for a lot more. So text Trump to 70301. 70301 and get your Trumpinator bobblehead tonight. And you can say, hey, I remember buying it on primary night in South Carolina. I love the signs, Fire Biden. So this campaign really is now targeted to beating Joe Biden. I don't think that it ever really was against any other candidate in the Republican conference. President Trump did, 39 rallies after the 2020 election, and was able to really hammer home not only the message and his plan, his 47 agenda, but he's also able to, pivot and become the presumptive leader in the Republican Party, as it should be, because the overwhelming popularity of President Trump has always shattered not only the amount of votes that he's received for any sitting president, actually got more votes the second time around, did a better job in 2020 than 2016 with total overall votes. So this run for another term has really started after the election. There's no doubt about that. And of course, when you look at the other people that were in the race, it's been, at one point, I think we had 11, 12 people officially in the race for the candidate for the Republican Party. And quickly, after week 2 or week 3, we saw some of those drop out even after the debates. We've one by one, and I would probably say the biggest one that has dropped out was Ron DeSantis. And shortly after he dropped out, he did make a public statement that he would support President Trump as the Republican nominee. So, which I think is respectable. But if you look amongst the base, and what does that mean for him in the future? And that's been one of those things where we've always have asked, who is the next man up for the Republican Party? Who is the next person to fill the shoes after a Trump term? The second term has unfolded. Now you can turn to whoever that vice president will be for this 2024 election. That decision has not been made, and I would expect that would not be determined until likely May, June, I would think. But if you look about the next man up on this, what does that look like? And now at CPAC, it was interesting because I made this analogy that I'm not sure if there's another political figure that can fundraise like President Trump, that has the finances to withstand the legal challenges that President Trump has, that's able to withstand the continuous attacks against him, his family, than President Trump. It's a very difficult position to be in. So we have to only assume that that next person has got to be ready for not only the presumptive attacks that would happen for that person, but to take the MAGA torch and continue it. Because I do think that once Trump gets into office and is able to put his team in place, and he's able to obviously have a Congress in place, the agenda laid out, if we're able to have the majority in the Senate, which is possible. We've got some very contested races around the country, that one being Arizona would be a pathway, one of the pathways to taking over the majority in the Senate. But, if you have the Congress in place and the Senate in place, then that does increase the odds of having an effective Trump term. So with all that said, I really think that we could get the agenda. What's that? Okay. What you got? I tell you what, we got some fans up here. Let's see if we can get down there. Wave it to them. Nice. Thanks for coming out here tonight. Thank you for having your dad bring you out. It's very nice of you. Thank you. President Trump is what he says. Thumbs up for President Trump. Thank you for coming out. It's always nice to have some people coming out and showing some support. I mean, that means a lot to us. It's funny that I say that, because that is our bread and butter in terms of our supporters. It is our viewers. That's how we got our start, and all of this was from people like that. So we certainly appreciate them coming out and showing support tonight. So if we're able to have an effective, the election goes well, I see we have the Congress and the Senate, I think we will have a very efficient and effective 4 years. Now, one of the top problems that we have right now, and I'll step back in here, it is the immigration part. And then we start to think about what does that look like, and this mass deportation that President Trump talks about during his speeches. And yesterday at CPAC, and I don't remember exactly, maybe it was Elisa Stefanik, had an excellent point. And I said, well, it's going to take a huge budget, I would think, to get do this mass deportation. This is not something that we can do for free. And it's interesting because she said, well, I'll tell you what we do. We make the countries that these people fled, we'll make their leaders, their countries, pay for them to return. Very much the premise that President Trump did with Mexico helping to build the wall. So I like that idea, that you get the money and some kind of a workaround situation so that they are able to pay for the mass deportation, because we've seen just the numbers are huge. And I don't need to go over them tonight. You know what the numbers look like. You've seen the drone videos. You've seen the night vision videos. You've seen them sleeping in hotels and airports in New York City. You've seen them in Chicago, just about every major city. And I will say this. Whenever they started to ship and bus and fly these immigrants all over the country to these various cities, initially, I was not the biggest fan of that. Because I simply said, well, why are we bringing them in and allowing them to stay here and shipping them off and losing control of them? I'm about sending them back. But I then started thinking, if we did not allow them to go into these cities, then the people in these inner cities would not understand just how bad the immigration problem really is. They wouldn't see it firsthand. And so I've got to commend Governor Greg Abbott for doing that. And I was not the biggest fan initially on that, but I have reversed stance on it because I do think that was a great way to show these mayors, these governors of these states and these cities, like Eric Adams in New York City, and of just how bad the immigration problem is by showing them and having these immigrants sleep asleep. Now I do feel, obviously, it is a pathetic situation when you have, people sleeping on the streets. You got people sleeping in airports. You've got these mass, tent cities with hundreds of people. And you might have saw the video a couple of days ago where they had a little bit of a skirmish break out underneath one of those tents. Now, I see situations like that, and it is very disturbing. But I think people need to see it to know how bad it is. And, of course, the crime that we see along the border and the drugs that are coming in this country cannot be understated. It is definitely a problem, and I think that's something that we can address on that. And then people talk about the election integrity, do we think we have the votes to take back the White House? Absolutely. I don't think that's a problem at all. What is the problem is the way we count these votes. And I think that, and it can be debated on whether or not we've done enough in terms of election integrity to secure the vote, to make sure that we have done enough to, when people show up to vote, are we doing the IDs? Is it paper ballots? Have we cleaned up our voter rolls enough to make sure that doesn't happen? Some efforts have been made in certain states, and there's some states that simply that effort has not been done enough. So that is a big issue. I do want to talk about clean air now. It is the most anticipated time of the year. No, it's not Christmas. I kind of wish it was. It's flu and cold season. That's right, flu and cold season. Now, think about this for a second. People spend a lot of money making sure their water is purified in their home. Perhaps you have a water filter, a purifier hooked up to your faucet. Maybe you buy bottled water that are purified. But what if we can purify the air in your home? Because think about this for a second. The air that you breathe could be making you sick. This great company here, Triad Air, has a great filter system that will clean up your cat and dog dander, your litter boxes floating around. It will clean up the air. This air purifier, you never have to replace the filter. This is one way to stay healthy, have clean air in your home or your apartment, and basically breathe clean air. The information for that is on your screen. It is one way that you can guarantee that you and your family are as healthy as possible. Check it out. I will say this, that Triad Air Filter is a new advertiser to our company, and I want you guys to check it out. They are offering a great special discount if you use the term, this word's RSBN, at checkout. You can do that. That's airwaterhealing.com. That's airwaterhealing.com. You step aside. I was just told here momentarily we should have some interviews here on the set. There is, as you can see, the last 20 minutes or so, much more people inside here tonight. Broadcasting-wise, if we want to talk about what's the next up for us, we will transition over to, I believe there could possibly be a couple rallies that first weekend in March. As soon as we know more about that, we'll let you know. Also, we've got, I would imagine, an election night. We should be live with Complete Super Tuesday, because about a third of the delegates are up for grabs on Super Tuesday, and so that is obviously a huge night for the Republican Party. But, we'll like to see what the statement is tonight when this is said and done from Nikki Haley. And what would that statement look like? Because I think that really is dependent on the margin of victory, and if it's within some type of reason, and that's kind of not to, that's debatable what that margin of victory would look like. But I would anticipate perhaps a promise to keep pushing forward. I know she's been asked by several media outlets in terms of what state can you win? Like, she was a former governor of the state. What state can you actually win? And it's one of those situations where that remains to be answered. And so with that said, I mean, how long do you continue to fundraise? How long do you continue, in my opinion, to I think distract, pull funds that could easily be allocated towards your general election, resources, energy that could be allowed to the general election, because all of our eyes should be collectively set on November. And I think that's something that we need to be reminded that we need to stop, fighting, stop campaigning against one another. And that was one of the things at CPAC that I'm hoping we get out of it, that it is a collective message of, let's get on the same page and find a way to win this country back. It is noted that, Vivek Ramaswamy was a speaker last night at the Reagan dinner at CPAC, and so that's something that is noteworthy. And he was a former candidate, as you know, and now he's very much on the campaign trail with President Trump. And so, Nikki Haley didn't go to CPAC. And I think that, and I can only imagine why she didn't go to CPAC, because I would imagine the response would not be what she would necessarily be looking for. But that should tell you all you need to know about the state of this party and who they are rallying around. So with that said, I will continue to ask the $1 million question. Why is she still in the race? And I don't, at this point, just don't get it. We're glad you're joining us on this great night here. Thanks for a good friend of mine bringing us some water over here. It's very much appreciated tonight. But we're glad you're joining us, and hopefully we'll be able to get kind of an indication of some of the exit polls. Now, the ones I looked up just about 20 minutes ago had the president leading about, it said, 6 out of 10 would consider themselves very conservative. Now, I put that in the category of a Trump supporter. That's where I would place that person. So 6 out of 10 said that they're considered very conservative. 4 out of 10 said they were conservative. And then if you look at Iowa, it's interesting. About 4 out of 10 in Iowa said they were quote MAGA. That's 40%. You might get a lot of people that will downplay their level of support for the president for whatever reason. I mean, you might have some people aren't as much, they kind of want to hold back on their political views, or as far as going towards President Trump for whatever reason. So I think that number could be a little bit higher. I actually think we're looking at about a 38% win, a 38-point win in this primary for President Trump. I don't see a problem. I don't see any other way. I definitely think it's plus 35, but I think it's under 40. Let's also talk about the Trumpinator teddy bear. Now, we've got the bobblehead. Those are great. We've also got the teddy bear as well. If you want this cool collectible themed teddy bear, this is all you have to do. Text BEAR to 70301. 70301 for this great teddy bear. It's a one of a kind. It makes a perfect gift for your whole family, kids, adult, grandkids. Let them know that your mission is to protect them. But this is it. To secure your bear, text bear to 70301. I want to step in here for a second because I think it's very important that you know we're literally witnessing history. So we advertise some of these products here on the show, whether it's the bobblehead or this bear that you're looking at right now. Buy them because you got to think ahead. 20, 35, 40 years from now, you're going to look back at that 2024 election when you bought that, and you're going to tell your grandkids, yeah, I bought this when we were hoping President Trump would make a return to the White House. And so I try to keep, when we go to rallies, we've got the media badges and things like that, I do my best to keep as many as I can. And this is another great way to, remember history. So get the bobblehead, get the teddy bear, and I'd say buy a couple of them. Use them for yourself, put one in your office, your home, and collect them. Information for that is on your screen. Pick it up right now. Okay, so the polls close at 7 o'clock here in South Carolina, and so we'll get probably an early indication. I would imagine once the polls close, give it 10, 15 minutes for some of these precincts to record some of the totals, early totals, and that would be indicative of what we could see throughout the state over the next course of the hour or so as they start to record these votes. So we should have a great understanding of what that's going to look like. Now, obviously, the totals should be, I would think, substantially high. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're live here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's primary night on this Saturday night. Glad to spend some time with it. A few minutes, we'll come right back. Stick around.
The plug-in mini air purifier is the greatest air purifier for bathroom odors or for kitty litter. If you're sick of smelling like the crazy cat lady, plug it in. The Mini Air is the most versatile air purifier plug-in on the market. Not only does it remove odors, whether it's human odors, kitty litter, it is absolutely incredible. You just click it, walk away, you've got a clean, fresh room. Oh, hey guys, fancy seeing you here. I just got done taking a massive hit. A hit? Yes. What do you do for the hit odors in your bathroom? We're going to answer the age-old question. Does a bear take a hit in the woods? Have you ever been up Hits Creek without a paddle? Let me show you how one finger can click one button and hit gone.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I have a Christian show called Let It Be Heard, where we analyze culture and current events from a biblical perspective. I highly recommend you guys check us out. We now have episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And basically, what happens is we react to videos, we have talking points, we have on guests, and it's very exciting. Come check us out on Rumble on the RSBN channel. God bless you guys.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you. everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your My Pillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
Welcome back. We're live here in Columbia, South Carolina. It's primary night here in the great Palmetto State, and we're glad that you're joining us. We just wrapped up 3 days at CPAC. That's right. 3 long days at CPAC. Tons of speakers, tons of segments. I'll remind everybody, if you've missed any of the action at CPAC, just simply go to our Rumble page, our YouTube channel, or there's something on Facebook as well, and check it out. And you can also, go back and you can share it. You can tag a friend on any of those segments that might have stood out for you. But another great year at CPAC. I got to say, the crowd was, if I'm not mistaken, I heard it was, for the most part, sold out. A huge media row as well. But it was interesting because Matt Schlapp, had said earlier that he didn't necessarily allow all the media in. He did deny several what he would call very extremist, kind of a corrupt media was not allowed in there. Now, for the most part, there was a huge, I think over 1,000, I think, media passes were given out, so there was plenty of media there, but he was definitely controlling some of the I guess you would call them fake news, didn't want them in there as well. But if you missed any of the segments, just simply go on to our mobile page and then check that out. We're quick check of the time here. We are about 8 minutes shy of the top of the hour. If you're just now joining us, the polls here close at 7 p.m. We should get an idea of some early numbers coming out here shortly, just off the top of the hour. As soon as we have those come across the board, we'll let our guys we'll relay that in, and we should have that on the screen there, and they'll tell me as well. One of the issues that we found at not only CPAC but all of the rallies that we go to is our involvement in the war in Ukraine, and that not only does President Trump say he has a solution to call for peace and make peace between Ukraine and Russia, but the amount of money that we're simply printing and shipping off to Ukraine is staggering. I saw a report just last week that it was around $223 million a day. Now, if you want to try to put that in some type of comparison of what that money would amount to and what we would spend, I think that with that money that we spend in the course of a year could basically rebuild schools in just about every major city that we had. So you could take the New York school districts, LA Unified School District, and go to some of these bigger cities and go to the worst schools that we have in those districts and rebuild them and give our kids a better environment for the education. But instead of doing that, instead of investing in our own country, we're sending the money over to Ukraine, and it's recklessly being spent. Now, there has been calls for an audit to find out exactly where that money is going, and there has been some holes and some discrepancies on where and how that money has been spent. Now, that's just the cash. That doesn't include actual planes, weapons, other materials that we have sent to Ukraine to fight this war with Russia. Now, if we had no other crisis going on in our country right now, and I mean no other crisis, let's say there was no southern border invasion. Let's say we did not have hyperinflation. Let's not say we had stagflation. The economy, our GDP was sluggish, our production was sluggish. Let's just say everything was firing on all cylinders, and the economy was doing great. We had low employment. We had every segment in our society, as far as the Latinos and African American, their average wages for those two demos were basically rising. Let's just say everything was perfect in a Trump perfect world. One might argue that getting involved with a country like that and sending a little bit of money could be almost, I wouldn't say justified, but I think some would say, okay, perhaps we need to supply them with a certain amount of aid. But considering the complete dumpster fire that is going on in our country economically, with inflation, with unemployment, some of those numbers are not necessarily realistic. A lot of people quit looking for jobs. A lot of people don't want to work. I mean, if I travel quite a bit, and I've talked to just about a lot of business owners, and I've asked them, what's your labor market like? I said, well, we can't find anybody to work. We can't find anybody that wants to work, and that's a completely different subject. But I really feel like if we didn't have these crisis after crisis after crisis, that maybe this war in Ukraine and us funding it partially would almost go unnoticed in a way. You know, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But I think now, since we do have such dire economic needs and people are suffering, on my Instagram story, you can follow me at Brian Glenn TV. I had a moment today at the airport, and I just started thinking about talking to the hundreds of people that we talked to at either a rally or a CPAC event or even an event like tonight, and understanding the gravity of what's going down on this Biden administration. But I mean what's going down, how people are suffering economically, spiritually to a certain degree. People they get depressed because of what's going on. With the border situation, they're in a particular situation where they've seen drugs come across the border. I met two people at CPAC that had lost a family member due to an accidental overdose on fentanyl. It wasn't that they were a drug addict. They weren't taking drugs and suddenly took too many of them and died. It was an accidental overdose because what they were taking was laced with fentanyl. After hearing hundreds and hundreds of people come to me and say, Brian, we have got to win. President Trump has got to win. And we all know this. We know his policies are best. I started thinking about this, the state of this country, and how the people are so desperate right now for help and change, and that they view the Trump administration, they view his policies as the only way to turn this country around. Now, this is outside of having faith, okay? This is outside of having faith in God that he has a plan, okay? That trusting the Lord, he has a plan. I'm talking about politics here. I'm talking about economic policy, foreign policy, social issues. People are desperate right now. They want change. And I have never, in my covering politics and being involved with all this, I've never seen how desperate people are. Now, when Barack Obama first took office and he said, I want to fundamentally change this country, that's the first time in my life that red flags went flying everywhere. Because I thought, what does it mean by that? I'm going to fundamentally change this country. I like the country that I was in. I think it offers opportunity for just about everybody in our segment of society. I don't think it discriminates against anybody. I think we have an equal opportunity. We don't have equal outcome, but we have equal opportunity. But what started in 2008 and now to today has been such a reset for the Democratic Party. And I've often said the Democratic Party has been hijacked. This is not the Democratic Party that I grew up on, that maybe you grew up on. We talk to Democrats all the time. I'm on Capitol Hill almost every day, and I talk to people. And they'll tell me off the record, they don't like what's going on in their party. They don't like how the progressive left has taken over on social issues. They may not like some of the issues that Republicans, the MAGA Republicans are doing, and they don't like the direction they're going. And that respectfully, we can all respect each other's viewpoints. But we can all agree that the Democratic Party has become the party of everybody else but the USA. And this obsession with Ukraine, this obsession with spending money is incredible. I'm going to step aside, show the scene as this crowd grows here. As we are moving the top of the hour, let's listen in on, he's just playing a clip here. People had an idea. All right, let's talk about our friends over at the Burgo Group in case President Trump makes a surprise appearance here shortly. Silver, gold, precious metals traditionally has been a great place to put your money. And our friends at the Burgo Group, they are the experts in gold, silver, precious metals. The monitor inside has lit up. Trump wins South Carolina. Breaking at the top of the hour. The polls have only been closed for a whopping 1 minute. Incredible. Now, I'll get to that in just a second. Friends at Burgo Group, go check it out. Securing your investments, making sure that your hard-earned money is protected with the gold, silver, precious metals is imperative. Go check source Trump to 989898. That's Trump to 989898. You're taking a live look right now. We've got some surrogates that have walked out. Looks like family members. The Trump team. I see Congresswoman Nancy Mace and others walking out right now. We're witnessing some history here. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just stepped out as well. As top of the hour, 7:01, already declaring President Trump has won South Carolina. Looks like we might get a few words here in just a few minutes. We're glad you're joining us on this very historic night here in South Carolina. How big was that margin of victory? We'll find out here as the numbers start to roll in. I said earlier, top of the show, my guess is likely around the 35, 38 point win, as we would expect here in South Carolina. Trump a commanding lead in this race, and also, let's listen in. As the crowd gets fired up for Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. Wow. That is really something. This was a little sooner than we anticipated. It was an even bigger win than we anticipated. And I was just informed that we got double the number of votes that has ever been received in the great state of South Carolina. So that's pretty good. So it's a record times two. And there's something going on in the country. Some really great things are going on. You look outside and you see all of the horror. You see millions and millions of people coming across the border illegally. We don't know where they come from. They come from jails. They come from prisons. They come from all sorts of places that we don't want to know. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. And we don't want that in our country. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. You have terrorists coming in. You have people coming in that we just can't. We can't do this. No country could sustain what's happening to the United States of America. No country. So we're going to straighten things out. The border is the worst it's ever been. You know, in 2016 we won, and we had a bad border, and I talked about the border a lot. Talked about it a lot. And I said, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We fixed it very quickly. And in 2020, we couldn't talk about it, although we did get millions of more votes the second time. But now there's a spirit that I have never seen. We ran two great races, but there's never been, there's never been a spirit like this. And I just want to say that I have never seen the Republican Party so unified as it is right now. Never been like that. And a big part of that is the people standing behind me. These are the biggest officials in South Carolina, but I say like the biggest officials in our country as far as I'm concerned. They're state figures, but they're national figures, and in the truest sense of the word, they love our country so much, and they want to see our country succeed and be respected again. Right now, we're a laughing stock all over the world. Our country is going to be respected again, respected like never before. So this is a fantastic evening. It's an early evening and a fantastic. So you can all go down and you can celebrate for about 15 minutes, and we have to get back to work because the big date, you know, Michigan's coming up. We're doing great. The auto workers are going to be with us 100% because they got sold out by this country. but Michigan's up, and we're going to have a tremendous success there. And then we have a thing called Super Tuesday, and I think we're leading 91-7 overall. If you don't mind, may I have the pleasure of introducing some incredible people? Because they stuck right from the beginning, from the very moment we announced, and they believe in make America great again. That's what they believe in. They believe in America first. We're putting America first. First of all, my family, Melania, Barron, Don Jr. and Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Tiffany and Michael. They're so supportive. So supportive of me, and we really appreciate it and love them. They're great. We have a great family, and we have incredible friends, and we're going to be up here on November 5th, and we're going to look at Joe Biden, and we're going to look him right in the eye. He's destroying our country, and we're going to say, Joe, you're fired. Get out. Get out, Joe. You're fired. You know, they're destroying our country, and we're going to... I just wish we could do it quicker. 9 months is a long time. I just wish we could do it quicker, Mr. Governor. I wish we... Is there anything you can do with your vast powers to make that, you know, in certain countries, you're allowed to call your election date. If I had the right to do it, I'd do it tomorrow. I'd say, we're having an election tomorrow. Henry, is there anything you can do? I want to start off because right from the beginning, Henry McMaster, the governor of this incredible state, and much more importantly, his wife, Peggy, she's with him all the way, I'll tell you. Never saw anything. What a couple. But I'd like to ask him to say a few words. He's a very special man, an incredible governor, very popular in the state. And really, I mean, he gave us some very good advice. And he has right from the beginning. You know, from the day I announced, I had the lieutenant governor. He was the lieutenant governor. And from right at the beginning, when I announced, then I said, I don't know the gentleman. Is he good? They said, he's really great. And I said, well, I hope so. And you know what? Within about 2 weeks, I said, that guy is unbelievable. You know, I never got the support of the governor. She supported somebody else, but I had the support of somebody much, much better, Henry McMaster. And we won in a landslide. And I'd like to ask the governor to say a few words. Please, Henry.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very brief. Y'all, I would like you all to remember this moment that you were here. This is a great moment in American history. We will probably never see another one like it. Every time a rocket launches, you know, it goes up slow and then it's climbing and climbing and then boom, that next stage comes off and it goes. Well, we just did that. We just hit maximum velocity and we're going all the way.
So I'm going to ask somebody else to say, because he came on board and Lindsay wanted him and the lieutenant governor wanted him and everybody wanted him. Henry and Peggy wanted him. So I thought he was okay, but he didn't love speaking about himself because he's a good person. See, I have no problem with that. It's a problem. What a personality, I don't know. But he endorsed me. And then we asked him to go and do a few shows, and, you know, they're not often nice shows. They're very hostile. And what he did was, I said, is this the same man? And he campaigned nicely, but he's a high-quality person. When he was supporting me, the day, is that correct, Lindsay, when he went out, Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott, he went out, and he was ripping it. I said, what happened to Tim Scott? What a dynamo. And he has been one of our great advocates. He's been doing things that have been unbelievable. And I'm just very happy he didn't have that same energy, drive, because I think I probably would have been out of the race a long time ago. But I want to say, a very special man. I really do mean it. So many people have such great respect for him, and you're very lucky to have him in the state. Tim, please, say a few words.
Hello, South Carolina! The longer I speak, the less you hear of him. So let me just ask one survey question, and you better answer it loud and clear. is South Carolina Trump country.
Thank you very much, Tim. Really great job. Amazing. Another man, not a lot of people know him. He doesn't do too much television. He happens to be a little bit further left than some of the people on the stage. But I always say, when I'm in trouble on the left, I call up Lindsey Graham, and he straightens it out so fast. And I'll tell you, no, remember. I love him. He's a good man. Come up here, Lindsey. Come up here, Lindsey. Come here.
Okay, are you ready? America, the nightmare you're facing is just about over. Help is on the way. This is the most qualified man to be president of the United States. And let it be said that South Carolina created the biggest political comeback in American history.
Thank you, Lindsey. So, I have a son who's a very talented guy, and he works so hard, and we love him, and his wife is very good. She goes on, and Laura. And I want to thank Eric and Laura for doing such a fantastic job, and really amazing. They're amazing people. Let's go down a little list of some of the people that are up here tonight, because every one of them is a star in their own right. And your lieutenant governor is going places. You do know that, right? Pamela Evatt. And really going places. And Speaker of the House, Merrill Smith, who's coming up in a couple. You know, some of these people are actually busy. He's running to get over here. But we want to thank you, Speaker of the House. Fantastic person, doing a great job for the state. An Attorney General who's been in the news lately a lot, winning cases. Oh, I wish we had such a good Attorney General like that in New York. Oh. He's a great Attorney General. Alan Wilson, thank you, Alan. His father happens to be up here, too. Remember his famous, "You lied." Remember? He's been loved ever since, hasn't he, huh? Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Curtis, thank you very much, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you, Curtis. Mark Hammond, Secretary of State. Thank you, Mark. Ambassador, and this is a great ambassador, one of the best. Anytime we had a problem, I just call Ed McMullen, and he would solve the problem very quickly. Ed, thank you very much. We have a man who's done a really good job in the state, your South Carolina GOP chair, Drew McKissick. Thank you. Thank you. We have a highly opinionated group of people. I'll tell you, they turned very positive on you very quickly, Elizabeth.
We won.
So, you have a beautiful, beautiful state right next to you, North Carolina. We love North Carolina, right? In fact, they named their daughter Carolina. And I said, which state? She said both. I think I know which state, but that's okay. But they have the most beautiful daughter named Carolina. So we love both of them. We love them both very much. And we won them both very easily. And one of the reasons we won North Carolina is a man named Michael Whatley, who looks to me, we gave him our endorsement, and he looks to me like he's going to be going on to the National Republican Party as the boss. Michael Whatley. Where is Michael? Michael, thank you very much. And he's going to be working with Laura. And we may be putting Kellyanne in the group, too. Do we like Kellyanne? We love Kellyanne, right? But You're going to do a fantastic job, both of you. We appreciate it very much. What a job he's done in North Carolina. You know, that evening of 2020 with those votes coming in, we're leading in Pennsylvania, and all of a sudden, oh, something happened. It went boom. And then we're leading all over the place, Georgia, and then boom. And we're leading. But North Carolina, I said, when is that going to go? When are they going to drop lots of ballots into that one? And you know what he did? He just kept that thing, and we never had a problem. And I said, that's my kind of guy. He had hundreds of lawyers. How many lawyers did you have? 500 lawyers. He had 500 lawyers to make sure they didn't cheat, and they didn't cheat in North Carolina. And I said, that's my kind of guy, so I appreciate it. Great job. We're very proud of you, and you're going to do a fantastic job. And come election period, you know, we used to have election night. Now we have election period because some of these elections go on for 48 days, 61 days. Then they announce, they get all this equipment, and they announce, they'll be announcing the vote in 3 weeks from now. Can you imagine? They don't know what they're doing, but I will tell you, you have done a fantastic job, and we very much appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. We also have a lot of members of Congress, including members of Congress out in the audience. This room is full of energy, and our party is full of energy like never before. And I mean it. There's never been unity. There has never been unity in our party. Just the fact, think of it, we've had a lot of primaries in this state. The fact that we got double the number of votes in history, there's never been anything like that. Who's ever heard of that? So we have members of Congress with us. I'm very proud of this one because I sort of said, that guy would be great. We had somebody that did a vote that I wasn't exactly happy with. He voted to impeach your favorite president. And until then, he'd love to have that vote back, I can tell you. But until then, he was a man that couldn't be beaten. I said, really, let's see. I said, who do we have that's good? They said, the best we have is a man named Russell Fry. And Russell Fry got out there, beat him so badly in the primaries, he had my support. And he's been a fantastic congressman. So wherever you may be, hi, Russell. What a great job. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was great. We got rid of that one. We got rid of a lot of them. Almost, I guess every one of them, almost every one of them, now they're gone. The impeachers are all gone. Nancy Mace is here, a non-controversial person, but she's a real advocate, and she's become a real advocate, and I appreciate it, Nancy, very much. Thank you very much. She's a very strong woman, and we want strong women. We like strong women. William Timmons, Congressman William Timmons, who's been a fantastic warrior for our country. Joe Wilson, I spoke to you about him before. He is tough and he is smart. And he and his beautiful wife produced a wonderful, wonderful attorney general. So, Joe, thank you very much, and you've done a fantastic job. Loves our country. Michael Waltz knows more about the military probably than anybody. And we see him on a lot, and I always want his opinion. And he's got very strong opinions, and he hates to see what's happening to our country. That I can tell you, but he'll straighten it out. We'll all straighten it out together. Michael Collins. Michael, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Great job. A very non-controversial person, but a very good person. People don't understand. This is a very good person, and he's a very capable man, Matt Gaetz. Thank you, Matt. That's not bad, Matt. Wow. Wow. That's impressive. I'm very impressed, right? Very good. Matt, what's going on? How many people did you put up here, huh? That's fantastic. And by the way, before I forget, we have a group of people, and I know this is okay with you, from North Carolina. It's about 60 women that travel all over the country with me. Every time I'm out, we do a rally. We have to do, at least it has to be of significance. So usually rallies. but I think they're up to number 121. They've done 100. They're all beautiful women. Obviously, they're very wealthy. They look so wealthy and beautiful. Look at them over here. But they travel all over the country, and way over 100. And I'm trying to figure out the husband. They're all happily married. They have these wonderful husbands. Hey, one of the husbands is standing right there. He's the smartest one of all. But I just want to thank you. Your support is so incredible. I get out, and it's like a breath of fresh air. I look at these incredible people, and at least here we're having one that's very close, right? You don't have to travel out to California and Texas and all the other places. Well, we very much appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Very special women. A woman who was actually out campaigning today. She is the hardest worker. I said, Marjorie, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I said, Marjorie, you don't have to do. She went to a polling sector, and she had the Trump flag, and she's waving it and screaming, vote. I said, Marjorie, it's 4:30. It's just about over for the vote. Please. She said, nope, I'm staying longer. This is the hardest working, wherever you are, the most incredible woman. She's respected by everybody. She is very smart. And I'm just very happy that she's on our side. Right, Eric? I'm very happy that she's on our side, right? So it's been an incredible period of time. We have a country that is a failing nation, but we're not going to have a failing nation very long. We are not going to allow this to happen. We love our country. We love it dearly. We're going to fight for our country. We're going to fight for our rights. We're not going to let this go on because it is not sustainable by any country. You cannot let, I believe, the number by the time we get him out. And remember the date, November 5th. It's going to be the most important date perhaps in the history of our country. The election is on November 5th. So we have Michigan coming next week. We have Super Tuesday. We have Mall coming. You know, we've set a record so far in in Iowa, we got the most votes in history times 2, just like this, the biggest margin ever. We then went to New Hampshire. You know, New Hampshire and Iowa, they've been around a long time politically. And we went to New Hampshire. We got the most votes in the history. That's like who has the most home runs, who has the most hits in baseball, or who threw the most touchdowns in football, who got the most points in basketball. It's very simple. We got the most votes in the history of New Hampshire primary. That's a tremendous, and that goes back so many decades, and we beat them. You know, you have John F. Kennedy. You have a lot of good people to beat, and we beat them by not a little bit, by a lot. And then we went Virgin Islands. I want to thank the Virgin Islands because they made a very strong play for the Virgin Islands, and we got 100% of the Virgin Islands. And then, of course, Nevada, as you know, we went to Nevada. We got 99.6% of the vote. And then they had a primary, and this is no candidate. You know, it's called, they had various forms, unknown candidate, but this is no candidate, got 65% of the vote, and they think I was the no candidate because it was a caucus, it wasn't a primary, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to go into the caucus, not the primary, but without going into it, I think we won by 50 points or something like that. So, and then we come here, and what an honor this is. You know, in South Carolina, I've won every primary by a record, and we've won every election by a record, and people like these two, and like this great governor, and your great lieutenant governor, and I have to say, thank you very much, Pam. What a job. Thank you, Pam. They make it really easy, and many of them, as I was announcing, it seems like a long time ago, but as I was announcing, before I finished the speech, they said, we're endorsing Trump. Those are friends. Those are great, great friends. And we had some strong competitors. I mean, we had some very strong competitors, but these were real friends. South Carolina, thank you very much. Go home, get rest. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We love you all. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Local time, it's 7:29. The polls closed 29 minutes ago, and we've already had a decisive winner, and we've already had a victory speech. 29 minutes past the top of the hour. We are live here in South Carolina, as we can all probably agree that was probably the most on time the president has ever been, and I think I've done hundreds of his events. But when they said 7 o'clock remarks on election night here in South Carolina, you got 7 o'clock remarks. Interesting to point out, it seems like this new theme, and it's not really a new theme for the president, but to have this "you're fired" kind of bring back from The Apprentice is really interesting. We've got some signs out here as well. Just kind of looking up the numbers here, President Trump did overwhelmingly over the base, a MAGA base, a solid Republican. He did kind of, I think, I wouldn't say had strong numbers on the independent voter, but nevertheless, as a convincing win here in South Carolina. We'll find out how big that victory was probably a little bit later tonight, but right now, he's got his eyes set on Michigan, North Carolina, and then, of course, on Super Tuesday, you've got about a third of the delegates up for grab there as well. I think he got all 29 delegates at large available in South Carolina. He's won them all. And, of course, we'll see what happens a little bit later in the night, exactly see what those totals come out to be. We do want to thank our great partners of the night. Here we got the Birch Gold Group. As a reminder, if you want to secure your financial futures, or secure your savings, check out our friends over the Birch Gold Group. Simply text the words Trump to 989898. That is Trump to 989898. That is the Birch Gold Group. They'll show you how to convert a traditional IRA into a gold-backed IRA. Our friends at the Birch Gold Group. Also, the Wellness Contagion Kit. Man, this thing is awesome. We want to talk about protecting yourself. We talked about protecting your financial future. Let's also talk about protecting your health from any type of pandemic. This Wellness Contagion Kit has what you need to keep you and your family safe in case of an emergency. CPAC, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, it's all there. Information for that is on your screen. And do not forget about our two Trumpinator bobblehead. Let's talk about this bobblehead just for a second. What a collectible item. Sturdy, strong construction. The iconic figure. There's nothing that says I love President Trump more than that bobblehead. The information for that is on your screen. I said earlier, buy it, buy one or two, play with one, keep it out, put the other one back in storage for 50 years from now. It will be a collectible. And while you're at it, get the teddy bear as well, the Trumpinator teddy bear. Once again, another collectible. Buy two or three, keep them in the box, play with the other ones, give them to your grandkids. Nothing says I love President Trump and remembering this part in history. It's interesting he just said that earlier, that this is history that we're witnessing today. I think Governor McMaster has said that earlier. We're witnessing history, so why not get this as well? And don't forget to donate as well to our website, RSBN Network/donate. Go donate, and due to our great sponsors, we're able to continue to do what we're doing. Also, the air water healing. Let me tell you something. We can drink purified water, and you have no problem doing that. But imagine purifying the air in your home and staying healthy and staying, chemical-free. Dog hair, cat hair, litter box, all those toxins that are floating around the air. This gets it all out. This is awesome. And get this, you never have to change the filter again. Go check it out. The information for that is on your screen. Brand new advertiser at the right side. Let's make sure these guys, when they pull the report on Monday morning, they go, wow, how many people on the right side send to our website to check it out? So go check it out. It's a great way to do that. Also, sign up for our newsletter, rspnetwork.com. Click on the newsletter. Easy to do. Put your email in there. A few information. We will not sell your information over to China. We will not spam you. We'll just give you the content you need to know in this crucial election season. Don't forget to follow me on social media as well, at Brian Glenn TV. I'll be putting up some video that I shot earlier today out in South Carolina at some polling places, and President Trump talked about some sign waving things. I've got that on video. I will share that with you a little bit later today. Programming, we will be live, coming up 1st of March, actually March 2nd, there will be, from what I've been told, some rallies being released. We'll keep you updated for that. Plus, we'll live on Super Tuesdays as well. Also, if you miss any of the action at CPAC, simply go to our Rumble page, go to our YouTube page, go to our app, go to our website. It's all there. All the speeches, President Trump's speech, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're all there. Go check it out on our pages as well. Well, from South Carolina on a very prompt election night, Brian Glenn saying so long, everybody. Goodbye. God bless. Until next time, we'll see you.
The plug-in mini air purifier is the greatest air purifier for bathroom odors or for kitty litter. If you're sick of smelling like the crazy cat lady, plug it in. The Mini Air is the most versatile air purifier plug-in on the market. Not only does it remove odors, whether it's human odors, kitty litter, it is absolutely incredible. You just click it, walk away, you've got a clean, fresh room. Oh, hey guys, fancy seeing you here. I just got done taking a massive hit. A hit? Yes. What do you do for the hit odors in your bathroom? We're going to answer the age-old question. Does a bear take a hit in the woods? Have you ever been up Hits Creek without a paddle? Let me show you how one finger can click one button and hit gone.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I have a Christian show called Let It Be Heard, where we analyze culture and current events from a biblical perspective. I highly recommend you guys check us out. We now have episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And basically, what happens is we react to videos, we have talking points, we have on guests, and it's very exciting. Come check us out on Rumble on the RSBN channel. God bless you guys.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your My Pillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda, Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.